Get cozy, everybody, because today we'll continue on with a game called Cupid. Where were we? Here? Where were we? I think it was here. Yeah, it is here. All good things, I hope. Depends on the tablet and the day of the week. Emil thought to herself and chuckled. You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work? With the Dmitri household, sire. Ah, yeah, you are marrying into the family soon. Oh, father, I told you not to tell anybody yet. I didn't, but you know how people talk. Word travels fast. Pardon the comment then, my lady. Please. Your betrothed is a lucky man, I'm sure. The conversation endured through the afternoon. Small talk about musical composers and their little town. Catherine's musical background, Francois' students, Emilie's work. Emilie played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on equally droll topics. All throughout the exchange, Emile observed the infamous Marquis de Glue. This was him? The audacious, shameless flirt of the royal court? According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Devonshire and her daughter. What? Holy shit, dude. At the same time, holy fucking shit, dude. And even had tumultuous relationship with the Prince of Garnet. Garnet? I don't know. He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he was caught with another man. Or woman. At this point, who knew what was real and what was a blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him, and here he was, finally. Talking about sampling the new bakery's cream blah. Emily sighed. She couldn't say she was disappointed exactly. The rumors couldn't all be true. But the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emily ventured. She watched as his gaze flickered across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. Any moment now, she thinks, any moment now, he will say something coy. Something outrageous. Something shamefully long have Emily fantasized about this. The infamous Marquise Guillermo attempting to woo her, Emily Perde, and she, a reasonable woman, would scold him and put him in his place, this shameless flirt whom everyone adored. That would be a small victory for sensible women everywhere, but regrettably the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle, he did not touch unnecessarily, no audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with. Emily bit her lip. She shouldn't be thinking that, but there were also times that he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation lulled. When the words spoken were without meaning, their eyes would converse further. Oh no, he's activating his ultra instinct, I don't know. To Emily, he started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors, and the numerous flings. We are a little lonely, aren't we? Perhaps even he? He invited the family over to his chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. Why is he so guilty to listen to music? It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul to touch. And before she could stop herself, Emily began to imagine his lips on her neck. On one of those cold nights. Emily shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. You fucking horny. You horn dog, you. How perverse. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. What's wrong with me? She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, her father didn't seem to notice. Miss Emily, your face is flushed. Are you alright? I'm fine, just the sun, I suppose, and I have to take a huge dump. If you'd like, you can rest inside the chateau. I'll have someone attend to you. No, that's not necessary. Papa. Catherine came bounding up to the huddle. Emily sighed gratefully at her sister's distraction. This little girl ran towards Francois, flinging her arms around his torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. A young, ragged girl followed behind her. Emily wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid the left side of her face. You could just see the faint traces of scars peeking through. Really? I don't say. A surge of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. Hello there, young lady. The girl looked down at her toes, but smiled shyly back at her. I see you've made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty. Thank you, miss. Catherine gave it to me. Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the name of all the flowers in Lord Gilly? Lord G. Guy's garden. Catherine, there you go again with your silly names. Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us. Catherine? Papa, please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go. Catherine, that is not very nice. Rosa is a girl. She's not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home like you always do. Goodness knows, we all have the stray cats of France living in our house. Yeah, I know she's not a kitten, I know she's a girl. But shouldn't we take her home even more so? Francois sighed. Guillermo chuckled under his breath. I don't know. Jillian? I don't know how it's pronounced. God damn it. Your daughter has some very unique views, Sir Perde. I'm gonna call him something else like Bob or something. Well, Lord Gilly, what do you think? Huh? Bob's face lost his casual bystander look. You're a Marquis. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home? Bob's brows Bob's brows furrowed at being put on the spot so subtly. He stole a glance at Francois, who gave him an imploring look. It was clearly not the first time this conversation happened. Bob cleared his throat. Well, I'm sure it's up to your father since he owns the house. Your father works hard to clothe and feed you and your sister. And now he would have to do that for Rosa too. That would be a burden to your father, right? I earned money. The Queen gave me lunch last time. Father said you'd give me lunch today too. Francois blushed furiously. Catherine! Hey, you dumb bitch. He's our employer. You've given this some thought, I see. Yeah, I got it all figured out. Catherine pumped her fist energetically. Ever since sister moved out to work, nobody minds the house anymore. I have to wash the dishes every time. Ugh. Papa's so busy he's rarely at home. There's always enough food for me. If Rosa stays, then we can play together. She'll wear sister's old clothes and we'll mind the house when both sister and father are away. She can wash the dishes sometimes, and I'll wash them sometimes. Bob and Francois shared a look. And besides, if it were up to me, I'd have people take one girl home in their house and give her food. Girls don't even eat that much. Yeah, back then, but now it's like, eat all you can. One time I ate one whole plate of potatoes and my stomach hurt. Why would you do that? If Rosa was there, I wouldn't have eaten so much. Maybe. Bob snickered. Francois rubbed his neck in embarrassment. Catherine, please. Father, won't you allow it? Emily patted her father's shoulder, whispering quietly to his ear. I think Catherine needs a friend. She is always alone ever since I left. Taking Rosa in wouldn't be much trouble for us financially, yeah? My new work pays better. I'm sure we can manage. Well, about that. Perhaps if Rosa works in my household, it wouldn't be much of a burden to your family, Sire Perde. Wow, Lord Gilly's awesome. That would be a wonderful gesture, sire. Not at all. It is obvious that Catherine has taken to the girl, and I am always looking for good and honest workers. Rosa, you don't mind taking care of me from now on, do you? Although, if she were to stay with us, her situation still worries me, sire. What about her family or her friends? The girl was quiet the whole time. She was looking at her toes or at Catherine. Rosa, do you have any family, relatives, or friends you stay with? Well, no, sire. My mother died a long time ago. She now lives as a voice in my head. But she guides me always. So please don't be compelled to mind me. No, don't go back to the streets, Rosa. It's September. Do you remember? It's going to be really cold soon. Lord Bob will even give you work. Stay with us. But Catherine. Francois sighed in surrender. All right, you can stay with us. Papa. But just for tonight, then we'll see if she wants to stay for longer. But... Francois held her daughter's shoulders. See here, Catherine. You cannot hold people in their place just because you want them there. Do you understand? If Rosa wants to leave, she may leave. You cannot keep her like an object just because you like her. That is sound advice, Sire Perde. Yes, Papa, I understand. Rosa, please make yourself comfortable in our home. Thank you. Papa is the best. Catherine turned to Bob once again. Lord Bob, don't you think if everyone in the house takes one person home, nobody would freeze in winter? You should make it into a law. They'll obey you because you're a Marquis. Dude, what the fuck? You think people can afford that? And because you're tall. What? Bob chuckled. Is that why? Well, you're taller than my papa. At least he'll never be a Marquis. Francois pulled on his daughter's ear with embarrassment. Catherine, shush! That's enough from you. Bob shook his head good-naturedly, his eyes trailing over the P.2 family. Emily watched him curiously. That same sadness once again surfaced for the briefest moment. You have a lovely family, sire. I am quite jealous. You make me want to settle down myself someday. He chuckled. Maybe. Emily's heart skipped a beat. Did you look at her when she said that? Was it her imagination? Catherine is a wonderful girl. It is one of the reasons why I am very invested in her. Bob knelt down so that he was eye to eye with Catherine. He patted her head. You are a very intelligent and kind-hearted girl, Catherine. You are a star. Someday I know you will change the world. At least I'd like to see you try. Mother. What? Ooh. Help me. My chest. Chest is what? I can't breathe. No. Can't. Whoa. Catherine. Wait, is that her? And she hung herself or was she got hunged? Damn. Chapter 2. La Piqûre. I don't know how it's pronounced, dude. It's funny, is it not? This is what you get for making me play these games. I don't know how this works. Why would you let me play a game without I can't pronounce the words? It's funny, is it not? Or maybe that's what you want to hear. Me fucking up every word and shit. Funny, is it not? They always leave you. Such is the way of the world. The more you love, the more you lose. Or it seems that I'll stay forever, but they never do. I'm the only one who stays, my lovely Rose. My love is the only love you need. You were always so weak. Always so loving to people who did not deserve it. I told you to get rid of her, didn't I? I told you to be wary. I knew it from the start, my Rose. She was nothing but selfish. She led you astray. Okay. What happened? Oh, wait, I can... Yeah. She was nothing but selfish. You fought so hard. You never used to fight with me. But now she killed herself. Your sacrifice lost in her selfish ways. I knew she would cause you pain. I'm glad she's dead. I'm glad you're back to me. It saved me the trouble of delivering you from her clutches. She was poison. I'm glad she's gone. Your silence bothers me, child. She was important to me, Mother. She was my one-way ticket to living a normal life. I loved her. Mother only laughed as Rosa screamed out her pain. Rosa felt strong arms shake her awake. Whose arms was it? Rosa. She opened her eyes and was hit by a strange sadness that crushed her. She was dazed for a moment. Why was she so sad? And then she remembered. Her best friend was gone. She was gone. Rosa? You sleep in that outfit? Really? How are you feeling? Weirded out because that's your pajamas, dude? Bob sat by her bed, a hand in hers. Rosa didn't realize she had been holding onto it tightly in her fitful sleep. She broke from his grasp and clutched her knees. Rosa? She remained silent. I came to check on you. You went to shock and lost consciousness. Your fucking outfit for me. Sleeping pajamas. I can only imagine how hard it must have been for you to see her. Like that. Who? His words echoed in her brain, yet she did not register much of their meaning. Rosa still refused to speak, and Bob fidgeted with his glove. The wake will take place as soon as possible, Rosa. Who is dead? I just wanted to let you know that she is being taken care of. He's hiding something. Am I supposed to click on it? Oh, no. There was a slight triumph in Mother's voice. He wants to get rid of her body as soon as possible. Don't you see, child? Tell me you're not falling for this. Rosa was tired. Mother, always the cynic, would say such things. She hated anyone who came close to Rosa's heart. Rosa didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to deal with anything right now. All she wanted to do was wallow in her loneliness. To curl up inside the hole Catherine had left behind and sleep. My child, tell me you see it. Remember the fear in Catherine's eyes in her last days? Look at how he's unperturbed. You have seen it, haven't you? She was mostly hostile, but sometimes when her sanity returned, she was afraid. Afraid of this man. How well do you even know him, child? I've known him for as long as I knew Catherine, Mother. He is a close friend. I didn't ask how long you've known him, but how well. Beyond the mask that he displays in public view, do you even know his past? Do you even know any of his ambitions or secrets? He was always a private man, Mother. Think back, child. Isn't it curious how all the past relationships have ended in disaster? Everything he touches crumbles. That is not enough to accuse him of anything. You idiot! He is different. He does not belong. You have felt it too, haven't you? Rosa looked at Bob with new eyes now. A hint of doubt slithered out beneath her sadness, so basically, Catherine? Who's Catherine again? Emily's like, I forgot who is this Catherine character? Is Catherine the pianist little child. Right, so she's dead now. Shit. A hint of doubt slithered out beneath her sadness. Rosa wanted something to blame, a cast for all of her regrets. Bob seemed like the perfect candidate, didn't he? Yes, you're finally seeing it. Open your eyes, child. It made sense. Bob and Catherine's relationship began to pewter off into coldness right before she died. Her mental instability only served to compound the fracture in their relationship. Perhaps Bob was tired of her and had killed her off for her convenience. Or perhaps Catherine, in her psychotic state, killed herself to spite him. Rosa, are you okay? You've been mumbling. Rosa stared at the man beside her. He's not to be trusted, child. He's a demon. Yeah, what kind of fucking weirdo would sleep in those kinds of clothes? That's what bothers me. You're not human. No wonder right about would sleep like that. Bob returned Rosa's angry stare with a resolute look. I know you must hate me, Rosa. I am aware that I only aggravated Catherine's condition with my presence. I know the feeling when I am not wanted. He stood up, a hard yet kind look on his face. Just remember that I will always be here for you. As much as I was there for Catherine, even though she spat me out. Rosa bit her lip. When Catherine had refused to eat, it had been Bob who fed her and attended to her. Despite Catherine hurling abuse at him, he had tried to care for the sick woman himself. Lies, all lies! Keeping up appearances! Then what is it that he has done, Mother? Catherine committed suicide. It was not by his hand that she died. Are you just going to leave it at that? Look at his face and tell me you trust him wholeheartedly. Rosa tried to search for the answer in Bob's eyes. But as always, his face betrayed only few emotions. I don't know. Mother was screaming now. He killed her. I am sure he did. And you're letting him get away with it. Please, my head hurts. And you say you loved her. You never loved her, you selfish child. I've always known you were this selfish. You're a monster. Stop. You throw people away. Didn't you throw me away when I inconvenienced you? Admit it. You were secretly relieved I died. No, stop it. She screamed back at the last voice. Her mouth quivered. Bob stared at Rosa in shock. The outburst had accidentally come out loud. He pulled the plug that kept the tears from pouring out. Now her vision clouded, and she blinked them away again and again. She was not sobbing. She did not even realize her face was wet. Bob and Rosa stared at each other, both kindred in their sorrow. He knelt down by Rosa's bed and wiped her tears with his hand. With your own gloves. He did not say anything while doing this, and Rosa stared blankly ahead. It almost stunned her how many tears a person's eyes could carry. I loved her too, Rosa. He said it after a while. I know what you're feeling. She didn't know if it was her own or if Mother's anger influenced her, but her chest heaved. She balled up her fist so tightly that her fingernails hurt. Shut up. She spat, and the man recoiled at the uncharacteristic bitterness of her words. Catherine was afraid of you in her last days. You did something to her. I know it. She could feel Mother inside her head, building up her anger. He has to be punished. You're to blame. He has to atone. I know you're guilty. He must pay. Bob stared at her, dumbfounded for a few seconds. But the man didn't try to appease her. He only stepped closer to Rosa, which is probably the opposite thing you should be doing right now, but okay, wrapping his arm around the hysterical girl. Let go of me. I hate you. Let me go, even though I gave you a house and a place to sleep, but I hate you, though. Okay. But Bob didn't. If you need something to hate, then I'll accept your hate. But you must accept my comfort, too. I need you, too, right now, Rosa. You're the only one who loved her as much as I did. Bob's words brought back Catherine in Rosa's mind. Thoughts in hand. Almost at once, the anger was replaced with a sadness so heavy she couldn't breathe. Why was she so angry again? He's giving her a bear hug, trying to choke her out. Why was she so angry again? She was focusing on anger instead of pain. It was easier. Ow, my back, don't forget to stretch, boys. Oh boy. The real tears came instead of the fake ones that was that was out previously. All for the loss of the girl they both loved. Tomorrow that was not going to come. There was only right now, the loss, and two friends mourning a loved one. Rosa cried until she thought she wouldn't be able to stop, and Bob quietly held her. Slowly her weeping began to subside into sobs, and only then did he speak again. Stay in the chateau, Rosa. I know you are thinking of leaving now that Catherine is gone, but I can't let you wander the streets again. I will take care of you. It's what Catherine would have wanted. Yeah, just like a little puppy. Like a spell being broken, these words brought back her anger. How could you possibly know what Catherine wants? I don't know, something nice to say but backfired. She pushed his arms away from her. She's dead. Yeah, that is true. Bob's mouth pursed and he stepped away. I want you to go. Give me all your money while you're at it. Please leave me, and all your money too as well. Bob sighed and closed his eyes. I understand. He turned on his heels and left without another word. Hours seemed like minutes to her. She would fall asleep and awaken in unfit intervals so often that she had lost the exact time. Awake, she would stare at the part of the wall with no coherent thoughts forming in her mind. One would think mourning was an activity spent in a depressive frenzy. All the reasons to grieve are yours after all. She could wait now. If she wanted, she could pull on her hair, curse the skies. She could reminisce the past, admire the frailty of human lives. Fortunately, it was something less poetic. Pain was simple. It was clean. It was a well-sharpened knife that slashed through the heart in one stroke. No blood, no mess. Empty. But tears were spent when you have exhausted your grief. In place of pain, there would be nothing. The pain might call out, grating, nagging, constantly picking at fresh wounds. But as time passed, the hole would get bigger, darker, deeper. Soon, there would be nothing left. Soon, it would be hard to find where the hollowness ended and where you began. So, Rosa slept all day. The sun had gone down twice before she shifted from her bed. She stood up slowly, deliberately, with a purpose. My child, you know I hurt when you hurt. Already a surge of power flowed within her, fueled by her grief. The power filled her up, and there was so much emptiness inside that the energy saturated her whole body. Purpose was always a balm for grief. Mother, tell me what to do. Justice. Start with his guilt, child. Then deliver punishment fitting for one so vile. You cannot get away with this. Rosa didn't speak, but she started to form the words in her mind, feeding them in her bones, giving light to every thought. Time to go kick his ass or something, I don't know. That's my chi. She took a small knife and carved a symbol on her floor. Why the floor? It didn't need much a guilt spell. Wait, so she's a witch? I didn't aim to punish, I only aim to inform. She needed to know how much guilt the man carried and the source of such guilt. If the guilt was concrete and came from a direct action, then she would know Bob did something to Catherine. It had been a while since she had used magic. It used to be the only way she could protect herself from the world. Mother had taught her, and now Mother guided her as she cast her spell. She needed a possession of the man. Rosa opted for his voice still fresh from memory. She focused on the last conversation they shared. If you need something to hate, I will take care of you. I need you. Her words made Rosa feel distressing confusion. Always it was this way with him. The feeling wasn't for it. It had been there for years. I will always be here for you. Rosa felt a violent force upturn her stomach. It was that horrid lurch just before vomiting. You failed. The spell collapsed in her brain. Focus, you idiot child, or you lose your chance. Rosa tried again. This time she focused on Bob's eyes. Cold, like flints of steel. Dark and fathomless. No grief except perhaps for the situation. No Catherine, no pain of loss. This didn't matter to her. The relationship was dying anyway. Where was his guilt? Rosa dug deeper. She increased the chatting on her lips. No torment, no uncertainty, no guilt. Did the spell fail again? She searched once more and found nothing. There was no guilt in Bob's eyes. She could stop the spell now, knowing that he was innocent. If the spell had worked, then Bob was blameless. But this absence was almost distressing. Rosa desperately pushed her mind further, almost wishing there were traces hiding beyond her reach. Guilt should be present in any loss, no matter how little. Don't we blame ourselves for our own loss? Don't we hate ourselves and punish ourselves even if it wasn't our fault? It didn't have to be real, but we needed guilt to feel pain. But Bob didn't have a sliver of guilt. The vicious pain took hold of her again, squeezing her stomach with murderous intent. The pain was so great Rosa wasn't sure if the spell had failed or succeeded. Something is wrong. Before Rosa could agree with Mother, she felt a sharp pain in her throat. Rosa clutched her neck. A sharp, jagged lump blocked her breathing. It crawled up her windpipe, tearing the soft walls as it moved out. Is a vampire sucking on her neck or something? Rosa fell to her knees and gagged. Huge drips of blood-spotted spit ran down her chin. Mother remained calm, unaffected by Rosa's distress. Finally, she opened her mouth and forced the vile thing out. She kept her eyes shut, afraid to look at whatever had come out of her. What is it? But a choking feeling gripped her, and she puked again. What was the thing? The liquid dripping down her mouth thickened and congealed. Congealed. It wasn't spit anymore, but blood. Ew. Rosa panted. The gruesome effect had finally stopped. Something on the floor reflected light. She reached out with her hand, and the prick of something sharp made her recoil. Rosa picked them up with shaking hands. Needles! Oh God, why is there needles here? In her palms were a handful of long metal needles. She had regurgitated along with blood and jagged pieces of flesh. Ew! So you got insides? The innards? Also, oh God. Rosa examined them with a horrified kind of curiosity. She stuck one in her thumb and it drew more blood. They were real. She had materialized in her throat while casting the spell on Bob. Rosa wiped her mouth. There was something wrong with him. Something potent and dark and needle-like? Or could it be that she had botched the spell horribly? She had pushed her limits this time. She had gone too far. But still, a tugging concern was forming. It was as real as the metal needles in her hand. Rosa tried to stand up on her feet, but she was exhausted. Her knees failed her, and she crumpled on the floor like a rag. We must get to the bottom of this. Are you quite alright, my darling? Now you see it too. There is a sinister force at work because of needles. I knew it. Sewing people are to be blamed by everything wrong with this world. The ones who sue should be raped by the scythe or something. I don't know. Failed joke. Get up. We have a lot of work to do. We must find out what he is and stop him. Rosa stared at the needles in her hand. Who are you really, Bob? I don't know. Who's Bob? Why are you doing this, Bob? Bob. Chapter 3. Portraits, candlelit. Rosa entered the room with a tray of pastries and a pot of tea. She finished her duties early and was allowed a bit of free time. She thought of accompanying Catherine for today's piano lesson. Kath, do you want some tea? The girl didn't look away. She continued to churn out the bitter, melancholic sound from her piano. Rosa sighed. She placed the food on the table. She sat on the stool beside the piano, twiddling her thumbs while her friend continued to stew in her foul mood. Is that a new composition? It sounds nice. You've been making new pieces every day, it seems. It's a shame they're all so sad. Catherine didn't reply to that, but when she spoke again, her words were bitter. I saw them again, those degenerate louts. No shame at all. Kath, at least have the decency to close the door. Sometimes I think they want to get caught. What's our louts? When I walked in on them this morning eating each other's faces, they had this look on them, like they were daring me to say something. What, did they want my applause? A very nice technique, sire. I very much like the way you swap your spit with my sister. Great tongue action. What? And even as the gall to speak to me, be a dear and put them on the table, Catherine. He even said that. Ah, you wanted me to get annoyed. I just know it. Well, I sure as fuck am. Catherine turned to the tea and pastries, stuffing the buttered bread into her mouth. Easy there. These damn things. These damn delicious things. She said the last part angrily, as if she blamed her troubles on the food's relish. Rosa giggled in spite of herself. Catherine wiped her mouth in mock anger. What are you laughing at, wench? It's comical to watch you eat when you're angry, Kath. You're like a giant monster that attacked defenseless towns in horror books. Oh yeah? Catherine made sad tiny squeals as she picked up another piece of bread. No, no, please spare us. She adjusted her voice and boomed out a roar. The Catharinian monster of the deep doesn't show mercy to anyone. She dropped it in her mouth and chewed savagely. Yum, annihilation is delicious with tea. The two girls giggled. Catherine's rare smile turned into a rueful laugh. Is this a flashback or is this what do you call that? Rose imagining Catherine as a ghost or something. I don't know. Maybe just a flash. No, it's 100% flashback. Soon Rosa felt her mood turning somber again. What happened anyway? Aren't you annoyed by it too? Sister said ever since she started staying at the chateau. Now it's all Bob this, Bob that. As if she wasn't already married. Oh. So her sister Emily, I think, is already married to somebody else. She doesn't even care that people are talking behind her back. They're calling her a two-timey slut now. I'm tired of running around picking fights with gossipers. She hasn't even visited home for a long time. Father misses her a lot. He always asks about her. Father had worked so hard all these years to give us a comfortable life. Now he's sick, and all she cares about is that dastardly Marquis. Rosa shrugged. I am a little bit annoyed, but I guess I've gotten used to it. Their lives are their own, Kath, no matter how messy. She didn't dare divulge more than that to Catherine. And speaking of divulging more than that, I have to save here. Gotta prepare for work. Let's see here. There you go. So yeah, this was Cupid. Why Cupid? If you want to try the game for yourselves, that's brutal. What's up with the needles thingy? Ew. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.